Too lazy to garden? Plant these 15 perennials now. Let's be honest. You bought the gloves. You pinned the ideas. You told yourself this was finally the year, and then life happened. You watered twice, forgot for 2 weeks, came back outside, and half your plants had given up on life. Honestly, so had you. That was me every single spring. Money spent, time wasted, guilt every time I walked past my sad garden beds. But here is the thing nobody told me, and it changed everything. You don't have to be a dedicated gardener to have a gorgeous garden. You just have to plant the right things. Today, I'm giving you 15 perennials built for people like us. Busy people, forgetful people, people who want beauty without the babysitting. And if you are not subscribed yet, do it now, because this is exactly the kind of thing I put out every single week, and you do not want to keep missing it. Plant number 9 alone is worth staying for. Let's go. Let's get into it. Plant number 1, hostas. If you have a shady spot in your yard that you genuinely have no idea what to do with, this plant is about to make you very happy. Hostas are grown primarily for their foliage, and those leaves are absolutely stunning. We're talking huge, bold, architectural leaves in shades of deep green, blue-green, golden chartreuse, and beautiful variegated combinations of white and green. Some varieties grow as small as 6 inches across. Others spread to 4 feet wide and become the centerpiece of an entire bed. Here is what makes them perfect for low-maintenance gardeners. They thrive in shade, meaning they do beautifully in the spots where most other plants struggle. Once they are established, they are surprisingly drought-tolerant. They grow back bigger and more impressive every single year, and they are almost completely hands-off once they are in the ground. For zones, hostas are hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, which covers the vast majority of the country. If you're in the far north dealing with brutal winters or the deep south with extreme summer heat, just check the specific variety because some handle temperature extremes better than others. If you have a problem shady corner, hostas fix it. Full stop. Plant number 2, black-eyed Susan. This one is basically impossible to kill. I genuinely mean that. Black-eyed Susans are those classic, cheerful, bright yellow flowers with the bold, dark brown center that you have probably seen growing in meadows, along roadsides, and in gardens all over the country. And there is a reason they show up everywhere. They are among the toughest perennials in existence. They are drought-tolerant. They self-seed, which means they spread on their own and give you more plants next year without you doing a single thing. They attract butterflies and bees in huge numbers. They are native to North America, which means they evolved to survive in this environment without any help from you whatsoever. They bloom from midsummer all the way through fall, which gives you months of bold color. You can deadhead them to keep the blooms coming, or you can just leave them alone entirely and let them do their thing. Black-eyed Susans are hardy in zones 3 through 9. They are genuinely one of the most adaptable perennials on this list. Plant number 3, coneflower, also known by its botanical name Echinacea. And if you have never grown this one, you are missing out. These tall, daisy-like flowers, available in purple, pink, white, orange, and yellow, are among the most popular perennials in the world, and they deserve every bit of that reputation. They handle heat. They handle drought. They grow in poor soil. They attract pollinators constantly throughout their long blooming season. And in the fall, if you leave the seed heads standing instead of cutting them back, songbirds feed on those seeds all through winter. So you get beautiful structure in your garden even in the coldest months. What I love most about coneflowers for low-effort gardeners is that you truly have options. Deadhead them for more blooms, or leave them completely alone and let nature handle it. Either way, your garden looks intentional and alive. Coneflowers are hardy in zones 3 through 9. They are exceptionally adaptable and handle both cold northern winters and hot southern summers with ease. Plant number 4, daylilies, the workhorse, the classic. The plant that has been in gardens for generations and earns that legacy every single year. First, the variety is genuinely staggering. There are over 80,000 registered cultivars of daylilies. Hot oranges, soft creamy yellows, rich burgundies, delicate pinks, deep reds, bicolors. There is a daylily for every style and every taste. Second, they are aggressively easy to grow. Full sun or part shade, clay soil, sandy soil, slopes, flatbeds, containers. Daylilies simply do not care. They grow in dense clumps that naturally crowd out weeds. They spread slowly on their own. They multiply. So every few years you can divide them and plant more for free. The only real maintenance task is dividing them every 4 to 5 years if the clumps start looking crowded. That is your entire to-do list. One important note, daylilies are toxic to cats. Not to dogs, not to most other animals, but specifically toxic to cats. So if you have outdoor cats, plant these with some awareness. Daylilies are hardy in zones 3 through 9, with some newer varieties extending into zone 10. They are one of the most widely adapted perennials available. Plant number 5, lavender. If you have never grown lavender, today is the day that changes. Lavender is one of those plants that actually prefers a little neglect. It wants poor, lean, well-draining soil. It does not want to be fertilized heavily. It does not want wet feet. In fact, overwatering is really the only reliable way to kill it. If you're the type of gardener who tends to forget about your plants for stretches of time, lavender is literally made for you. It blooms in those iconic purple spikes that are fragrant, long-lasting, and absolutely beautiful. It is a natural insect repellent, so planting it near a patio or seating area actually reduces mosquitoes. The dried flowers are useful in sachets, in cooking, and in teas. And in mild climates, it is evergreen, meaning it gives your garden structure and interest year-round, not just during blooming season. The less you fuss over lavender, the better it does. That is the kind of plant relationship I am here for. Lavender is best suited to zones 5 through 9 for most common varieties. English lavender, specifically Lavandula angustifolia, is the hardiest and will survive zone 5 winters with good drainage. If you're in zone 4 or colder, treat it as an annual, or grow it in containers you can bring inside. Now, we are 5 plants in, and I know what you might be thinking. These are all great, but when do we get to the ones that are truly indestructible? Like genuinely cannot kill them plants? Coming up right now, because plant number 7 specifically, I have never seen it die, not once. Keep going. Plant number 6, a stilbea. This one is for the shade lovers, and it is one of the most underrated perennials on this entire list. If you have a shaded area, under mature trees, a north-facing bed, a spot that simply does not get much direct sun, most flowering plants are going to struggle. A stilbea absolutely thrives there. It produces feathery, plume-like flower stalks that honestly look like fireworks frozen in slow motion. Pinks, reds, whites, purples, lavenders. The color range is gorgeous. Depending on the variety you choose, you can have blooms from early summer all the way through late summer. Plant a few different varieties, and you can have color in your shade garden for months at a stretch. A stilbea does appreciate consistent moisture. This is one of the few plants on today's list that is not a drought lover. It does best with regular watering, especially in warmer climates. But beyond that, it is genuinely low maintenance. You plant it, water it reasonably, and it rewards you with spectacular blooms year after year, getting bigger and more beautiful every season. Astilbe is hardy in zones 3 through 8. It is particularly excellent in the Pacific Northwest, the Upper Midwest, and the Northeast, where cooler, moister conditions suit it perfectly. In Zone 8 or warmer, make sure it gets afternoon shade and consistent water. Plant number 7, sedum, also called stone crop. And yes, this is the one I told you cannot be killed. Sedum comes in 2 main forms. There are low-growing, spreading varieties that creep beautifully along rocks, walls, and between stepping stones. And then there are the taller, upright varieties, the most famous being Autumn Joy, that grow 18 to 24 inches tall and produce large, flat flower heads. Both types share one fundamental superpower. They are succulent plants. They store water in their thick, fleshy leaves, which means they are virtually drought-proof. Rocky soil? Fine. Sandy soil? Fine. Full blazing sun all day? Perfect. Forget to water for a month. Sedum genuinely does not care. Autumn Joy specifically is almost theatrical in its seasonal performance. It starts with pale pink flower buds in late summer, deepens to rich rose as it peaks, and then transitions to a warm rust bronze by fall that holds its structure well into winter, giving you incredible visual interest long after everything else has died back. This is the plant I reach for in every difficult, hot, dry, sunny spot I have. It has never let me down. Sedum is hardy in zones 3 through 9 for most varieties. Some low-growing, creeping sedums are even hardy into Zone 2. It handles both cold winters and hot, dry summers without complaint. Plant number 8, perennial salvia. And let me be specific here. There are annual salvias and perennial salvias, and we want the perennial kind. Salvia nemorosa is the one to look for. These are compact, upright plants covered in rich violet blue, purple or pink flower spikes. They bloom heavily in late spring and early summer. And if you cut them back after that first flush of blooms, they very often rebloom in late summer. 2 rounds of flowers for the effort of 1 pruning. Pollinators absolutely love them. Butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds flock to perennial salvia. Meanwhile, deer and rabbits tend to leave them completely alone because of the strong aromatic oils in the foliage. They handle heat. They handle drought. They do not want to be fertilized heavily. They do not need much care at all. The one thing that reliably kills them is overwatering or sitting in poorly drained soil. Give them sun. Give them decent drainage, and they will perform magnificently for years. Perennial salvia is hardy in Taimingtuino zones 4 through 9. In Zone 4, it may benefit from some winter mulch to protect the roots in the harshest cold, but it is a tough, reliable plant across a very wide range. Plant number 9, Russian sage. Here it is, the one I told you to wait for, the one I wish someone had pointed me to years earlier. Russian sage, botanical name Perovskia, is not actually a true sage, and it is not actually from Russia. What it is, though, is one of the most stunning, most architectural, most effortlessly elegant plants you can grow in a garden. From midsummer through fall, it sends up tall, airy, silver-white stems covered in tiny lavender-blue flowers that seem to float and shimmer in the air. The whole plant has this misty, cloud-like quality. It moves in the breeze. It catches the light. It makes everything planted near it look more beautiful by contrast. And the care requirements? Almost laughable in how simple they are. It wants full sun. It wants poor to average soil, and I mean that genuinely. It actually performs better in lean soil than in rich soil. It wants excellent drainage. It is extremely drought-tolerant once established. It is deer-resistant. It handles heat. It handles wind. It tolerates neglect almost joyfully. It does not want to be babied. Heavy fertilizing makes it floppy and reduces its natural elegance. It wants to grow a little wild, a little tough, and in return, it gives you 3 to 4 months of breathtaking color and texture. This is the plant that makes people stop at your garden and ask what it is every single time. And the answer is one of the easiest plants you grow. Russian sage is hardy in zones 4 through 9. It is exceptional in hot, dry regions of the West and Midwest that would stress many other plants. Zone 4, gardeners should cut it back to about 6 inches in late fall, and it comes back reliably each spring. Plant number 10, catmint. If you want continuous season-long color with almost no work whatsoever, this is your plant. Catmint, or nepeta, forms beautiful soft mounds covered in clouds of small lavender-blue flowers. It blooms heavily in spring, and if you cut it back by about a third after that first flush, it comes back and blooms again in late summer. It has this relaxed cottage garden quality that makes a space look effortlessly designed. It handles sun beautifully. It handles partial shade. It grows in poor soil. It is drought-tolerant once established. It does not need fertilizing. It is one of the genuinely hands-off performers on this entire list. It works perfectly as an edging plant along paths and borders. It softens hard edges with its flowing habit. And it attracts bees and butterflies from the first bloom to the last. Fair warning, cats may roll in it enthusiastically. This is not a problem you need to solve, and honestly, it is kind of entertaining to watch. Catmint is hardy in zones 3 through 8. It is widely adaptable and extremely cold-hardy, making it a fantastic choice for northern gardeners who want reliable, long-blooming color. We are halfway through the list, and I want to make sure you keep going because the last 5 include 2 ground covers that will genuinely eliminate your weeding problem, and 1 ornamental grass that is going to add more drama and elegance to your garden than almost anything else on this list. Do not click away. Plant number 11, yarrow. Tough, cheerful, and it practically grows itself. Yarrow has a very distinct look, flat-topped clusters of tiny flowers that sit above feathery, fern-like foliage. It comes in reds, yellows, pinks, creams, and whites. The overall effect is very cottage garden, very relaxed and naturalistic. And the toughness of this plant is borderline legendary. Yarrow started as a wildflower. That tells you everything. It tolerates drought, poor soil, heat, and very low soil fertility. It self-seeds and spreads gradually, filling in gaps in your garden without any effort from you. Deadheading spent blooms encourages more flowers. The cut flowers dry beautifully and hold their color, which makes them excellent for arrangements that last months indoors. One note, in very rich, fertile soil, yarrow can spread aggressively. So, if you have improved your beds heavily, give it a spot with leaner conditions, and it will behave beautifully. Yarrow is hardy in zones 3 through 9. It is one of the most cold-hardy plants on this entire list, and an excellent choice for challenging northern climates. Plant number 12, coreopsis, pure sunshine in plant form. That is the best way I can describe it. Coreopsis, also called tick seed, produces bright button-like flowers, primarily in cheerful yellow, though there are pink, orange, and bicolor varieties, and it blooms for an extraordinarily long season. Some varieties start in late spring and literally do not stop blooming until frost arrives in fall. It is extremely heat and drought tolerant. It genuinely prefers lean soil. Over-fertilizing makes it floppy and actually reduces the number of flowers. It works beautifully in mass plantings, along borders, and in containers. Many modern varieties are self-cleaning, meaning the old spent flowers drop on their own without you needing to deadhead. Non-stop color season after season with almost nothing asked of you in return. Coreopsis is hardy in zones 3 through 9 for most varieties, with some threadleaf Coreopsis varieties hardy to zone 4. It is one of the best perennials for hot, sunny gardens in the South and Midwest. Plant number 13, Liriope. This one solves one of the most frustrating garden problems there is. Liriope, also called lily turf, looks like a grass, but it is actually a flowering perennial. It has dark, strappy, arching leaves that stay attractive all season, and in late summer it sends up spikes of small purple or white flowers that are genuinely charming. But the real reason to grow Liriope is what it does as a ground cover and edging plant. It handles deep shade beautifully. It handles full sun. It tolerates drought, compacted soil, and slopes where almost nothing else will survive. Once established, it forms a dense enough mat to crowd out most weeds. It holds soil on hillsides and prevents erosion. In mild climates, it stays evergreen through winter. For those dry, root-choked spots under large trees, where the soil is compacted and almost nothing will grow, Liriope handles it with zero drama. It is not the flashiest plant on today's list, but it may be the most useful one. And useful is what changes a garden. Liriope is hardy in zones 5 through 10, making it one of the more heat-tolerant plants on this list. It is particularly popular across the southeast and mid-Atlantic regions where it performs exceptionally well in both shade and heat. Plant number 14, Creeping Phlox. This one delivers more visual drama for less effort than almost any other plant I know. In spring, Creeping Phlox does something almost unbelievable. It produces such a thick, dense carpet of small flowers, hot pink, magenta, purple, white, and lavender, that the foliage almost disappears completely underneath them. It cascades over rocks, tumbles over retaining walls, and floods slopes and hillsides with color in a way that genuinely looks like you spent serious money and serious time achieving it. After it blooms, it becomes a neat, tidy evergreen mat of fine needle-like foliage that holds its color year-round, keeps soil in place on slopes, and crowds out weeds for the rest of the season. For rock gardens, slopes, hillsides, in between stepping stones, or planted along the top of a wall where it can spill over the edge, this plant looks intentional, designed, and expensive. The actual maintenance is a light trim after it finishes blooming to keep it compact. That is the entire job description. Creeping Phlox is hardy in zones 3 through 9. It is particularly beautiful in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, where cool spring temperatures extend its bloom season. In warmer zones, make sure it has good drainage and some afternoon shade during the hottest months. Plant number 15. Ornamental Grass. I saved this one for last on purpose because I want it to be the one you walk away remembering. Specifically, Karl Forster Feather Reed Grass. Karl Forster grows 4 to 6 feet tall in a neat, upright, tidy clump that does not flop, does not sprawl, and does not spread aggressively. In late spring, it sends up feathery green flower plumes that catch the light beautifully. By midsummer, those plumes mature to warm gold. By fall, the entire plant transitions to a rich bronze gold that glows in the low autumn light. And in winter, it stands. It holds its structure through cold, through snow, through wind. It sways and catches the light on a clear winter day in a way that is genuinely beautiful. This is a 4-season plant in the truest sense. Most perennials give you a few weeks of bloom and then become background. Karl Forster is interesting and beautiful in every single month of the year. It is drought-tolerant once established. It handles heat. It does not need fertilizing. It does not require staking or support. The entire annual maintenance task is one hard cutback in late winter or early spring before the new growth emerges. Cut it down to about 4 to 6 inches from the ground. That is it. One haircut per year. That is the whole deal. If you want height, movement, texture, sound, because grass in the wind has a sound that is genuinely calming, and four-season interest in your garden, Karl Forster is the most efficient way to get all of it at once. Karl Forster feather reed grass is hardy in zones 4 through 9. It performs remarkably well across a huge range of climates from cold northern gardens to hot, humid southern summers. In Zone 4, it is best to cut it back in fall rather than spring in the harshest climates. Let me bring this together for you. We just covered 15 plants, and the best way to think about them is by where you need them. For shady spots, hostas, astilbe, and liriope. Those 3 will completely transform any dark, difficult corner of your yard. For hot, dry, sunny spots, black-eyed Susan, sedum, yarrow, coreopsis, and Russian sage. These 5 will absolutely thrive in conditions that would stress or kill most other plants. For edges and ground cover, creeping phlox, catmint, and liriope. These will crowd out weeds and look beautiful doing it. For color, fragrance, and pollinators, lavender, coneflower, salvia, and daylilies. Your bees and butterflies and hummingbirds will thank you. For structure and drama, Russian sage and Karl Forster grass. These are the plants that make your whole garden look like it was designed on purpose. Here is the thing I really want you to hear before you go. You do not need a green thumb. You do not need hours of free weekend time. You do not need to know everything about gardening before you start. You just need to begin with the right plants. Pick 3 from this list. Just 3. Plant them this season. Watch what happens. Because once you see how little these plants actually need from you and how much beauty they bring back in return, you're going to wonder why you waited as long as you did. There is nothing quite like walking outside on a summer morning, coffee in hand, looking at a garden full of color and life, and knowing you made that happen. And it was easier than you ever expected. And listen, we are just getting started here. If this helped you today, there is a lot more where this came from. Every week, I am breaking down exactly how to build a beautiful garden without it taking over your life. Simple. Practical, made for real people with real schedules. So, if you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit that button, turn on the bell, and you will never have to go looking for this kind of content again, and it comes straight to you. And before you go, drop a comment below. Tell me which of these 15 plants you are starting with. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know. Now, go get your hands a little dirty. You've got everything you need. I will see you in the next one. If this guide changed the way you look at your backyard, please subscribe and like the video. We are uncovering the gardening secrets that make nature work for you, not the other way around. Let's grow a future together. The next garden treasure will be revealed soon.